Don't cry, mister. I can share my mom with you.
Don't cry, mister. I can share my mom with you, said the little girl to the billionaire sitting alone at the park. The snow drifted across Green Hollow Park that evening, soft and forgiving, settling over empty swings and frozen benches. 1 week before the new year, and the city glowed with celebration. Storefronts draped in lights, laughter spilling from warm cafes. But here, in the farthest corner where the oak trees stood bare and skeletal, everything was silent. Isaac Boyer sat motionless on a frost-covered bench, his expensive coat doing nothing against the cold that lived inside him. Beside him, a paper cup of latte had gone cold. And next to that, resting like a relic, sat a tiny wooden toy train, his older brother's last gift before the accident 15 years ago. He wasn't crying because of sadness. He was crying because he couldn't remember the last time he didn't feel alone. Welcome to Life in Stories, where every tale touches the heart. If this story moves you, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment. We'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Let's connect. 1 week before the year's end, the city hummed with light and motion. Storefronts glowed gold and crimson, their windows dressed in glitter and garland. Carolers gathered on street corners, their voices rising in harmony above the shuffle of last-minute shoppers. Taxis honked. Buses hissed to stops. The air smelled of roasted chestnuts and cinnamon, and everywhere people moved with purpose, toward warmth, toward family, toward home. But the far corner of Green Hollow Park was silent. The street lamps here flickered weakly, casting long shadows across the frozen pond. The swings hung still. The benches were empty. Snow had begun to fall hours ago, thin and weightless, covering the ground in a blanket no one would disturb. Isaac Boyer sat alone on the second bench from the oak tree, his coat buttoned to the collar. Cashmere. Italian-made. Expensive enough to turn heads at charity galas. But it did nothing against the cold that lived beneath his ribs. His hands rested on his knees, gloved but motionless. Beside him sat a paper cup from the cafe 2 blocks over. The latte inside had gone lukewarm an hour ago. He hadn't taken a single sip. And next to the cup, small and weathered, sat a tiny wooden toy train. Hand-carved. Unfinished. The paint had chipped along the edges, and one wheel no longer turned. It had been his older brother's last project before the accident, before the funeral Isaac attended alone at age 12, before the foster homes that shuffled him through like paperwork, before he learned that silence was safer than hope. He carried it everywhere. In his briefcase during board meetings. In his coat pocket at press conferences. On his nightstand when he couldn't sleep. He never explained why. Tonight, sitting in the snow with his breath fogging the air, Isaac felt the ache sharper than usual. Not sadness. Sadness had edges. This was something duller, deeper, a hollowness that no amount of success could fill. His vision blurred. He blinked, and a tear slipped free before he could stop it. Don't cry, mister. Isaac's head jerked up. A little girl stood in front of him, no more than 5 years old, bundled in a pink puffy coat that was 2 sizes too big. Her boots were mismatched, one purple, one blue, and her knit hat had a pom-pom that bounced when she tilted her head. In her mittened hands, she held a gingerbread cookie wrapped in crinkled foil. She stared at him with the kind of seriousness only children possess. No pity, no fear, just observation. You look like you forgot something happy, she said softly. Isaac opened his mouth, but no words came. The girl stepped closer, holding out the cookie. It was lopsided, overcooked on one side, and dusted with too much cinnamon. Here, she said. You can have this. Anne. She paused, her small face thoughtful. You can share my mom with you. Isaac blinked. What? My mom, the girl repeated, as if it were the most logical thing in the world. I can share her. Until you remember. Before Isaac could respond, a woman rushed up the path, breathless and flushed. Luna, she called, her voice gentle but firm. You can't just. She stopped when she saw Isaac. The woman was younger than he expected, maybe early 30s, with blonde hair pulled into a loose ponytail and a grey wool coat dusted with snow. Her cheeks were pink from the cold, and her eyes, warm, cautious, kind, flicked between him and the girl. "I'm so sorry," she said quickly, reaching for Luna's hand. She has a habit of adopting strangers. But Luna didn't move. She stood her ground, still holding out the cookie. Isaac looked down at it. Then, slowly, he took it. The foil crackled in his palm. The cookie crumbled slightly, sticky and warm. "Thank you," he managed. Luna beamed. The woman, Maya, he would learn later, sighed, but there was no anger in it. Just resignation mixed with something softer. "We're on our cocoa rounds," she explained, adjusting the strap of the canvas bag slung over her shoulder. "Luna insists we bring treats to people who look." She trailed off, searching for the right word. "Lonely," Luna finished confidently. Isaac felt something crack inside his chest. Maya met his eyes, and for a moment, neither of them spoke. Then she smiled, small, tentative, real. "There's a cafe just down the path," she said. "If you'd like to join us." No pressure. Luna's hand shot up. "Yes. You have to come. We have extra cocoa." Isaac didn't know why he stood. Didn't know why he followed them down the snowy path toward the warm glow of the cafe windows. Didn't know why, for the first time in 15 years, he left the wooden train on the bench behind him. But he did. Inside, the cafe was small and cluttered in the best way. Mismatched chairs. Hand-painted ornaments dangling from the ceiling. A crackling fireplace in the corner that filled the room with amberlight. Maya poured cocoa from a battered thermos into 3 paper cups. Luna swung her boots under the table, chattering about the snowflake ornament she'd made at school. "That one's crooked," she said, pointing. "But Mommy says crooked things are special." Isaac accepted the cup Maya handed him. The warmth seeped into his palms. Luna slid a piece of paper across the table, a blank star outline, accompanied by a fistful of crayons. "Help me color it," she instructed. Isaac picked up a crayon. Gold. He hadn't colored anything in decades. For 30 minutes, he existed in a world not built on deadlines or expectations. Just warmth. Crayons. Mismatched mittens. When they finally stood to leave, Luna tugged on his sleeve. "Come back tomorrow," she whispered. "Mommy says lonely doesn't have to stay forever." Isaac wanted to answer, but his voice was stuck somewhere behind his ribs. He watched them disappear into the snow. Then he walked back to the bench, picked up the wooden train, and sat in the quiet, wondering why, for the first time in years, his chest ached in a way that didn't feel empty. Maya's apartment was small but warm, tucked above a second-hand bookstore on the east side of the city. The walls were covered in Luna's crayon drawings, lopsided houses, stick-figure families, stars with too many points. The kitchen table doubled as a workspace, cluttered with folders, donation receipts, and hand-drawn maps marking the locations of her Warm Pockets project stations. Tonight, Maya worked late, sorting through volunteer files for the upcoming year-end charity drive. Luna sat cross-legged on the living room floor, coloring another star, humming a tune she'd made up. "Mommy," Luna called without looking up. "Do you think the man from the park has a Christmas tree?" Maya glanced over. "I don't know, sweetheart. I don't think he does." Luna pressed a purple crayon hard against the paper. "He looked like he forgot what Christmas feels like." Maya's chest tightened. She turned back to the files, trying to focus. But Luna's words lingered. An hour later, Maya reached for a cardboard box she hadn't opened in years. It had belonged to her mother, Eleanor Hartley, who had run an independent youth shelter until her death 5 years ago. Inside were old registries, handwritten notes, photographs of children who had stayed with them over the years. Maya pulled out a faded notebook, its pages yellowed and soft. She flipped through slowly, reading her mother's neat handwriting, names, ages, notes about each child's temperament, their needs, their progress. Then she stopped. Isaac Boyer, age 11. Arrived December 3rd, quiet. Guarded. Loves building models. Won't speak about family. Carries a small wooden train everywhere. Maya's breath caught. She stared at the name, her mind racing backward. She had been 16 that winter. Home from school for the holidays. Her mother had taken in a boy, thin, pale, with dark eyes that looked too old for his face. He barely spoke, barely ate, spent hours in the corner of the guest room, building things from cardboard and tape. Maya remembered watching him once through the doorway. He had constructed an entire train from cereal boxes and toilet paper rolls, painting it carefully with watercolors her mother had given him. When he left 2 weeks later, reassigned to another placement, he had cried silently in the hallway. Her mother had hugged him, whispering something Maya couldn't hear. The boy had clutched that wooden train like it was the only thing tethering him to the world. Maya sat frozen, the notebook trembling in her hands. The billionaire she had shared cocoa with, the man Luna had offered her mother to, was the same lost child who once slept in her family's guest room. She closed the notebook slowly. Should she tell him? Would he even remember her? She had been just a teenager then, passing through his life for only a handful of days. And if he did remember, would it help? Or would it reopen wounds he had spent decades trying to close? Maya pressed her palms against her eyes, exhaling slowly. Luna padded over, clutching her finished star. "You okay, Mommy?" Maya forced a smile. "Yeah, baby. Just thinking." Luna climbed into her lap, resting her head against Maya's chest. "About the man." Maya hesitated. "Maybe." "I hope he comes back," Luna whispered. "I think he needs us." Maya kissed the top of her daughter's head and said nothing. The next afternoon, Isaac returned to the park. He told himself it was just a walk, just fresh air. But his feet carried him to the same bench, and his eyes scanned the paths until he saw them. Maya and Luna, bundled in coats, carrying another canvas bag. Luna spotted him first. Her face lit up. "Mr. Isaac," she shouted, running toward him. Isaac's chest warmed. Maya followed more slowly, smiling softly. "You came back." "I was in the area," Isaac lied. Luna tugged his hand. "Come see. We brought decorations." She dragged him toward a small pine tree near the edge of the park, a scraggly thing, no taller than Maya's waist. Luna pulled out a handful of paper ornaments from the bag and began hanging them on the lower branches. "It's for people who walk by," she explained seriously. "So they remember Christmas." Isaac knelt beside her, helping tie a crooked star to a branch. Maya stood nearby, watching them. Her expression was unreadable. Isaac glanced up. "You okay?" She blinked, then smiled. "Yeah, just thinking." Luna grabbed another ornament. "Mommy thinks a lot." Isaac almost laughed. They stayed for an hour, decorating the tiny tree, drinking cocoa from Maya's thermos, talking about nothing important. For the first time in years, Isaac felt something close to peace. That evening, Maya sat at her kitchen table, laptop open, replying to emails from volunteers. A notification popped up. A message from one of her longtime sponsors. Subject: urgent. Need clarification on project origins. Maya frowned. She opened it. The email was short, formal, cold. "We've received concerns regarding the authenticity of the Warm Pockets project. Please provide documentation proving original concept development and fund allocation transparency. We'll need this within 48 hours. Maya's stomach dropped. She clicked over to her project's social media page. The comments section had exploded. Dozens of angry messages. Accusations. Links to a blog post she'd never seen before. She clicked the link. The post was detailed, calculated, vicious. It claimed Maya had stolen the Warm Pockets concept from a larger organization. It included screenshots, donor emails, budget spreadsheets, all edited to look incriminating. There was even a voice note, distorted but recognizable, allegedly of Maya admitting to misusing funds. None of it was real. But it looked real. Maya scrolled through the comments, her hand shaking. "I donated $500 to this project. I want my money back. People like her make it hard to trust anyone. She's a fraud." Her vision blurred. She closed the laptop, pressing her palms flat against the table. Luna was asleep in the next room. Maya sat in the dark, silent, trying to breathe through the weight pressing against her chest. She didn't know who had done this. But she knew, with cold certainty, that her project, the one thing she had built from nothing, the one thing that mattered, was falling apart. And she had no idea how to stop it. By morning, Maya's world had collapsed. Her phone buzzed relentlessly, emails, messages, notifications stacking faster than she could read them. Sponsors who had supported the Warm Pockets project for years sent identical, sterile messages. Due to recent concerns, we must temporarily suspend funding pending investigation. Volunteers texted apologies but stopped answering her calls. Parents who had trusted her with their children's winter coats and books now demanded refunds, their voices sharp with betrayal. The project, 3 years of work, hundreds of children helped, countless freezing nights spent setting up donation stations across the city, was suspended. Maya sat at her kitchen table, staring at her laptop screen, watching everything she had built crumble in real time. Luna climbed into her lap, wrapping small arms around her neck. "It's okay, Mommy," she whispered. "People make mistakes." Maya kissed her forehead, blinking back tears. "Yeah, baby. They do. But this wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate, calculated, cruel. And Maya had no idea how to fight it. 2 days later, Luna spotted Isaac at the cafe. She ran to him before Maya could stop her, throwing her arms around his waist. "Mr. Isaac." Isaac knelt, smiling despite the exhaustion that clung to him. "Hey, Luna." She pulled back, her face suddenly serious. "Mommy's sad." Isaac glanced up. Maya stood near the doorway, pale and worn, holding Luna's backpack. "Why's she sad?" Isaac asked gently. Luna frowned, thinking. People are being mean on their phones. They say Mommy stole something. But she didn't. Mommy doesn't steal. Isaac's jaw tightened. Maya approached quickly, embarrassment flooding her face. "Luna, don't." "It's true," Luna insisted. "You didn't steal anything." Isaac stood slowly, his eyes locked on Maya. "What happened?" Maya shook her head. "It's nothing. Just a misunderstanding." But her voice cracked. Isaac didn't push. He simply nodded, handed Luna a napkin to draw on, and watched as Maya turned away to wipe her eyes. Later, when they left, Isaac sat alone at the table, pulling out his phone. He made one call. By the next morning, the storm had shifted. Maya woke to her inbox flooded, but this time, the messages were different. "We apologize for the premature suspension. After further review, all allegations have been proven false. Funding reinstated immediately." Another email. Then another. Sponsors begging her to stay. Volunteers asking how they could help. Parents sending apologies. Maya scrolled through, hands trembling, unable to process what she was reading. Then she saw the article. False accusations against local charity leader exposed, legal action underway. The blog post had been taken down. The fake screenshots traced. The voice note debunked. And the source, a disgruntled former colleague Maya had once reported for financial misconduct, had been publicly named, legally silenced, and forced to issue a retraction. Maya's vision blurred. She grabbed her phone and called the only person who could have done this. Isaac answered on the second ring. "You didn't have to." Maya's voice broke. "I know," Isaac said quietly. "But someone should have." Maya pressed her palm against her mouth, tears spilling freely now, not from fear, but from relief so overwhelming it hurt. "Thank you," she whispered. Isaac didn't respond. He didn't need to. 3 days later, Luna came home from school quieter than usual. Maya noticed immediately. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" Luna shook her head, climbing onto the couch without a word. That evening, Maya found a crumpled drawing in Luna's backpack, a stick figure family with one figure scribbled out in black crayon. Her stomach twisted. She knelt beside Luna. "Baby, what happened today?" Luna's lip trembled. "A boy said I don't have a real family because I don't have a dad." Maya's heart shattered. "Luna, he said I'm not normal." Luna's voice was barely a whisper. Maya pulled her close, whispering reassurances, holding her until Luna finally fell asleep. But when Maya woke the next evening after a long shift, Luna was gone. Her shoes, missing. Her coat, gone. The apartment was silent. Maya's breath stopped. She checked the bathroom, the bedroom, the closet. Nothing. Panic clawed up her throat. She grabbed her phone, calling neighbors, calling the school, calling anyone who might have seen her. No one had. Her hand shook as she scrolled through her contacts, landing on Isaac's name. She pressed call. He answered immediately. Luna's gone, Maya choked out. I don't know where. The park, Isaac said without hesitation. Maya froze. What? The bench. Where we met. That's where she went. Maya didn't ask how he knew. She just ran. Isaac was already there when Maya arrived, breathless and frantic. Luna sat on the bench, small and shivering, her knees pulled to her chest. In her lap was a half-finished drawing, 3 stick figures holding hands. Isaac knelt in front of her, his coat already draped over her shoulders. Luna, he said softly. She looked up, tears streaking her cheeks. This is where lonely people get found. Isaac's throat tightened. You're not lonely, he whispered. But I felt lonely. Her voice cracked. And I thought, maybe someone would find me here. Like Mommy found you. Isaac didn't speak. He simply lifted her into his arms, holding her close. Maya stumbled forward, collapsing beside them, wrapping her arms around Luna, around Isaac, sobbing with relief so fierce it shook her entire body. Luna buried her face in Isaac's chest. You came for me. Always, Isaac whispered, his voice raw. Always. Maya pressed her forehead against his shoulder, tears streaming freely. For a long moment, they sat together in the snow, 3 broken pieces learning how to fit. And for the first time in years, Isaac understood what it meant to be needed. Not for his money. Not for his name. But for himself. Luna's small voice broke the silence. Can we go home now? Isaac looked at Maya. She nodded, still crying, still smiling. Yeah, Isaac said quietly. Let's go home. 2 weeks later, the Warm Pockets project was thriving again. Volunteers returned with apologies and renewed energy. Sponsors didn't just reinstate funding, they doubled it. Donation stations appeared in 3 new neighborhoods. Parents brought their children back, some with handwritten notes thanking Maya for her patience and perseverance. Maya worked late most nights, but the exhaustion felt different now. Lighter. Hopeful. Luna spent her evenings drawing. Always the same 3 figures. Always holding hands. One night, Maya found her daughter asleep at the kitchen table, crayons scattered across a fresh picture. She picked it up carefully. 3 stick figures sat on a bench. One tall with dark hair. One with a ponytail. One small with a pink coat. Underneath, in Luna's wobbly handwriting, our family. Maya's chest tightened. She folded the drawing carefully and tucked it into her journal. The next afternoon, Maya sent Isaac a message. Meet us at the park. Not because something's wrong. Just because. Isaac stared at the text for a long time before replying. I'll be there. He arrived just as the sun began to set, the sky streaked with pale orange and gold. Snow had started falling again, soft, quiet, forgiving. The park was nearly empty. And there, on the same bench where everything had begun, sat Maya and Luna. Luna spotted him first. She leaped off the bench, running toward him with her arms outstretched. Mr. Isaac. Isaac caught her, lifting her into the air as she laughed. Something in his chest, something that had been frozen for years, cracked a little wider. Maya stood, smiling softly. Thanks for coming. Isaac set Luna down, his hands awkward in his coat pockets. Of course. They walked together to the bench. Maya brushed snow off the seat, and they sat side by side, Luna between them, swinging her boots. Maya pulled a thermos from her bag, the same battered one from that first night. She poured cocoa into 3 paper cups, handing one to Isaac without asking if he wanted it. He took it, warmth seeping into his palms. For a while, no one spoke. The snow fell softly around them, dusting their shoulders and hair. The distant hum of the city felt far away. Here, In this corner of the park, everything was still. Luna reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a folded piece of paper. She unfolded it carefully and handed it to Isaac. "I made this for you." Isaac looked down. It was the drawing Maya had found, 3 stick figures sitting together on a bench. The crayon lines were thick and uneven, but the meaning was clear. Luna pointed to each figure. "That's me. That's Mommy. And that's you." Isaac's throat tightened. "We're sharing the bench," Luna said proudly. She tilted her head, her expression suddenly serious. "Mommy says sharing makes things bigger." Maya glanced at Isaac, her eyes soft. Luna leaned closer, lowering her voice as if sharing a secret. "So, you don't have to borrow anymore." Isaac stared at the drawing, his vision blurring. He had spent 15 years building walls, building empires, building a life that looked perfect from the outside but felt hollow within. He had carried that wooden train everywhere, a relic of a childhood he couldn't let go of, a reminder that he had once been loved, even if only briefly. But sitting here, on this frozen bench, with a little girl who saw him not as a billionaire but as someone worth sharing her mother with, Isaac felt something he hadn't felt in decades. He felt found. "I don't want to borrow," Isaac said quietly, his voice thick with emotion. Luna looked up at him, eyes wide and curious. Isaac met Maya's gaze. She was watching him carefully, tears shimmering at the edges of her lashes. "I want to stay," he finished. Maya's breath hitched. She didn't speak, didn't need to. She simply smiled, the kind of smile that held years of understanding, of shared brokenness, of quiet healing. Luna beamed. She wrapped her small arms around Isaac's waist, squeezing tight. "Good," she whispered. "Because we want you to stay too." Isaac closed his eyes, letting the weight of it settle over him, the warmth, the belonging, the terrifying and beautiful reality that he was no longer alone. Maya reached over, resting her hand gently on his. Isaac turned his palm up, and she laced her fingers through his. Luna nestled against his side, her head resting on his arm. The snow fell softly around them, just like the first night. But this time, the cold didn't reach him. This time, the bench didn't feel empty. This time, Isaac Boyer, the boy who had once waited for someone to choose him, the man who had built an empire but forgotten how to build a home, finally understood what it meant to be chosen. Not for what he could give. Not for what he had achieved. But simply for being himself. The toy train sat in his coat pocket, untouched. He didn't need it anymore. Because he had found something better. He had found them. And they had found him. The park grew darker as the street lamps flickered on, casting golden light across the snow. But the 3 of them remained, together, warm, whole. A family not built by blood or plans or expectations, but by kindness, by courage, by love that showed up when it mattered most. And as the city hummed on around them, Isaac whispered the words he had waited his entire life to say. "I'm home."
Thank you for watching until the end. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Your support helps us create more meaningful stories. Tell us in the comments, what moment moved you most? We'll see you in the next story.